This is the Objective Jerk, and I'm said jerk. How you guys doing? Uh, I'm gonna try and like keep my rambling. I know I'm acting like no, it was good. I appreciate the the criticism. I really do. So I'm trying to you know keep it to a minimum. Keep it to a minimum. But like I said, podcast got to be 23 minutes at least. But um, anyway, got my AC. Got a new AC installed, which is nice. It was my birthday the other day, and it came in, and they installed it on my birthday, so that was nice. Good birthday present. So now I'm not going to be sweating my balls off while recording anything, and then I don't have to worry about the fans. I mean, this puts out a little bit of noise, but I think it's going to be a lot less than the fans. Anyway, so Spencer Pratt, right? Spencer Pratt, I think he had a great campaign. I think he really did. Did similarities between him and Trump hurt him? Probably. But I think he actually probably won the primary. I think he actually beat that whatever the other lady is, and that the election would have been between him and Bass, but they were scared that between him and Bass that he might win. And so I do believe that they cheated. Just because you could see the momentum, you could see the polls. Are the polls always right? No. But no one likes to live in a shithole. You know what I mean? Like, you see all the crap and the drug addicts and just everything failing. I mean, they completely screwed themselves during the Palisades fire. I mean, they dropped the ball like nobody's business. And Democrat, Republican, Libertarian, nobody wants to live that way. You know what I mean? So, granted, everybody in that area is registered Democrat for the most part, I'm pretty sure. But still, they don't. I mean, do some people just vote for whoever's Democrat? Yeah, of course. But a lot of people who don't really care too much about all the stupid politics, maybe they're registered Democrat, but they see the bullshit going on, so they're like, hey, I'm going to vote for this guy, And I've always kind of said that I would trust somebody. Like, politicians are garbage people, especially what do you call it? Career politicians, people that's all they've ever done. Like, I don't trust them for nothing. So I'd rather have some normal person. I mean, granted, he's not all that normal. He was, a what do you call it? Reality TV guy. But I really felt that he was going to win the primary and go against Bass during the elections. And I think if cheating hadn't occurred, that's what would have happened. And people are like, oh, there's no evidence of that. It's like, you dumb fuck. Oh, okay. There's some, but let's see what this article says. I don't want to say a bunch of crap and then the article just is on the California Post, or the Post, which I've always kind of felt was pretty down the middle, but more and more, they're just as liberal. But anyway, so let's see. Florida Senator Rick. Oh, I got. Oops. I switched my screens. All right, here we go. Florida Senator Rick Scott urges DOJ probe amid California voter fraud scandal. I'm just gonna read it. Florida Senator Rick Scott is urging the Justice Department to dig deeper into California voter fraud case involving a woman who admitted paying homeless people on Los Angeles Skid Row to register to vote. So there's some evidence right there, What
is that?
Well, you think that's the only incident of it. I mean, there's people with video recording people, getting people to register and not having do their names, and like it's right there, you know? And the fact that they can't do it on the day, well, that's how they do it. Yeah, that's how they cheat. It's retarded. In a letter sent Friday to Acting Attorney General Scott Blanche, the Assistant Attorney General Harmeet K. What's with these people and these names?
What the fuck?
Obtained exclusively by the California Post, Scott praised federal prosecutors for pursuing charges against Brenda Lee Brown Armstrong and called for a broader examination of potential election misconduct, which they should. If you find a little bit, they need to investigate it. There was so much of it they found all over, not just California. Like during the 2020 election, you know, there was little stuff. Like I said, there was nothing that was like, here's the evidence that proves it without a doubt, the single piece of evidence. There isn't that. But there's a lot of little stuff. By themselves, would it make a difference? No. But it's enough to look, you know, it's enough. You get a lot of little stuff, and it adds up. Americans expect and deserve elections that are free, fair, transparent, and efficient. It's none of those. When it comes to the Democrats, it's none of those. It's not transparent, and it's definitely not efficient. Remember them covering the windows? It's like, come on, man. California clearly does not want to meet those standards. Exactly. Scott told the California Post, between troubling reports of fraudulent ballots being submitted, people paying homeless people to cast ballots, and delays in ballot counting, everyone paying attention is troubled by the process. The American people deserve answers. Now, people, you know, say, oh, that's why they're bringing in a bunch of homeless and they support the homeless and they let the homeless do their thing, is for the voting. And then people are like, well, I think it's because of the weather. I think, well, it's both, but the weather brings them in because it doesn't rain very often. It doesn't get very cold. It's an ideal place for a homeless person. But the Democrats, instead of fixing it, they use it to their advantage and get them to vote for them to keep them in office. You know, like how much money did they spend to get rid of the homeless, and they haven't done shit? It's like, I should tell you something right there. The letter comes weeks after Armstrong, a Marina Del Rey woman, also known as Anika, agreed to plead guilty to a federal felony charge of paying another person to register to vote in a federal election. The American people deserve to know the full scope of what occurred, who was involved, and whether similar conduct has been taking place elsewhere. You know it has. It's not just happened in this one little place. Election integrity is too important to permit anything less than a thorough accounting of the facts, the letter said. Well, we're going to lose our democracy. You don't even care about democracy. You guys cheat. Federal prosecutors allege Armstrong spent years working as a paid petition circulator and expanded her operation by paying individuals, including homeless residents living on Skid Row, to complete voter registration forms and sign petitions. That's not a woman, that's a dude. What was the name again? Where'd it go? Brenda Lee Brown. It's probably originally a Brandon or something. That looks like a dude. If that's a woman, man, that's scary. Anyway, Armstrong offered money, cigarettes, and other items in exchange for voter registration and petition signatures. Prosecutors further alleged that on some occasions she provided homeless individuals with her own former Los Angeles address to place on registration forms, creating the possibility that mail ballots could be sent to an address she controlled, according to court filings. The Justice Department has described the conduct as a violation of federal election law and said Armstrong admitted paying individuals to register to vote. And see, they can get away with this because of the mail-in ballots. That's why conservatives want to get rid of the mail-in ballots, you know. Senator Scott specifically referenced comments from, I guess, Dylan, who said when charges were announced that false voter registration can undermine public confidence in elections. Federal officials have said Armstrong's conduct stretched over roughly 2 decades and centered on collecting signatures for California ballot measures, recalls a referendums. Fuck me in the face. Prosecutors contend, see, sounding it out, kids, works. She turned to voter registration efforts after discovering that some petition signatures were being rejected because signers were not registered voters. The case was investigated by the FBI and the U.S. Attorney's Office for the Central District of California. Scott's letter also arrives as election administration in Los Angeles has become the focus of intense political debate following the city's June 2nd mayoral primary. The contest saw Councilwoman Nithya Raymond overtake reality television personality Spencer Pratt in the days after the election, as mail-in ballots continued to be counted, securing a spot in the November runoff against the incumbent, Karen Basura.
Fuck you!
Yeah, see, that's the bullshit right there. He was way ahead, and then all of a sudden, voting day's over, and then the mail-in ballots come in, and they're all for her. Not for Karen Bass, not for him. They're all for her because that was what they needed. They needed her to win. Like, they can't even cheat smartly, and they get away with it.
I took about a half a pound of Vicodin.
The shifting results sparked criticism from prominent Republicans and conservative commentators, including President Trump, who questioned California's lengthy ballot counting process. Yeah, Democrats don't care. As long as they're winning, they don't care if they cheat or whatever. They don't care about integrity.
I don't give a shit.
Democrats have no integrity, man. No way this could have happened. Rigged election. Trump said in a social media post about the LA mayor's race. What evidence? What evidence? What evidence? Shut up, you dumb reporter bitch. Who is that lady? I don't know. Anyway.
Shut that cunt's mouth or I'll come over there and start her head.
However, Los Angeles County election officials have repeatedly stated that there is no evidence of election. Well, of course they're going to say that. Fraud or voter manipulation. Well, what do you mean there's no evidence? Repeatedly stated there's no evidence. Well, what about this man-looking chick here?
Oops.
And her admitting to it. That's evidence right there. So what are you talking about? However, Los Angeles County election officials have repeatedly stated there is no... I just said that. The registrar recorder's office has defended the integrity of the counting process and noted that California law allows ballots received and processed after election day deadline to be counted under specific circumstances. Scott did not directly accuse Los Angeles election officials of wrongdoing. See, they got to get rid of that. Then you wouldn't have this problem. I want to say there was more votes than registered voters that came in. But, you know, it's hard to, unless you really look into stuff, you can't, you know, there's lots of bullshit on social media. That's what kind of prompted me to read into this, because I saw something about ballots for Spencer Pratt were found in a dumpster. So I was like, okay, so I researched it further, couldn't find nothing. So it seems like it's bullshit. But then I, you know, while doing that, I found this article, so I thought I'd read it. Anyway, back to the article. Instead, he pointed to a mayoral race as an example of why public confidence in election administration remains a significant issue and said continued federal oversight is important. In the letter, Scott also renewed his support for the SAVE Act. Yes, legislation that would require documentary proof of citizenship to register to vote. Absolutely. Like, the Democrats talking about how that's Jim Crow and unfair and racist and misogynist to have the SAVE Act. It's like, oh my, it's the dumbest thing.
You dumb fuck!
Absolute dumbest thing. And that right there just proves that they cheat and they want to cheat. Why would you not want elections to be transparent and correct? Because they know they're going to lose if and when it happens. if the SAVE Act went through, Democrats would just start losing like crazy. They would not win because that's how they win, is they cheat. And then Republicans would just freaking run everything for a while. Then you start getting corrupt Republicans. And then, after 10 years or something, I don't know, it's just going to be. But Democrats, as they are now, the socialist and the crazy liberal side of the Democrats, they would not win. Basura would not win this election if the SAVE Act was in place.
Hell no!
Because even Democrats don't want her dumbass in office. The senator argued that stronger election safeguards are needed to bolster public trust and ensure that only eligible citizens participate in federal election. Of course, that just makes sense. How does that not make sense? It's because they cheat. Armstrong, 64, pleaded guilty in federal court and admitted in a plea agreement that she illegally registered people living on Skid Row to vote. So that's evidence right there. So the Los Angeles County election officials stated there's no evidence. Well, what do you call this?
Hello.
Federal prosecutors have indicated they are continuing to examine the broader circumstances surrounding the case, including whether additional individuals were involved in the alleged scheme. This is long. Concerns about election integrity have intensified in recent weeks following interviews with homeless residents in and around Skid Row. Several individuals told reporters that they have been approached by people seeking signatures and voter registration. There's evidence right there. While others claim they were offered small incentives, including cash and cigarettes. The interviews surfaced after Pratt's defeat and have fueled calls for some conservatives and election watchdogs for additional scrutiny of voter registration practices involving homeless population. Under California law, people experiencing homelessness can legally register and vote even if they do not have a permanent address. They should have like some kind of shelter they stay at or something, be their address. I don't know. Homeless voters may register using the address, of a shelter or by identifying a location where they regularly stay, such as a street corner, park, or other fixed location. They may also use a mailing address, including a post office box or a homeless shelter. Well, they just said that, shelter, to receive election materials. And so that's it. So, I mean, well, there's no evidence. There's plenty of evidence. I'm not saying there's plenty of evidence that proves that Pratt won, but there's evidence of, voter integrity. It's just not, it's just ridiculous. And to sit there and say that you don't need an ID is, racist and whatever. It's like, come on, like that's the dumbest thing in the world. Dude, Democrats continuously make stupid arguments and they keep getting away with retarded shit.
I know.
I just don't get it. And it's the tribal aspect of it. Because the people who agree with all the retarded shit that liberals believe or say they believe in, they want their team to win. It's just like the freaking finals right now between the Knicks and the Spurs. You don't care if you're a Spurs fan and you see a Spurs whatever cheat, you're like, yeah, it's part of the game. Hey, they won or whatever. You know what I mean? They don't care.
Fuck them. Fuck up.
No integrity. Yeah, man, no integrity. Integrity is missing from the world. And so is Jesus. All right, anyway, that's it. Thanks for your time. Let me know what you think, and I'll see you guys next time. All right, God bless.
Say something for the podcast. Tell the people what you feel.